I'd like to call today's Sports Authority Board of Directors meeting to order. It is a very exciting day, especially for the sports community in Nashville. We are all very proud of our Nashville Predators, and I know we wish them continued success tonight as they take on the Ducks in the Western Conference Finals. The appeals process for any action of this board can be found at the top of today's agenda. You have the minutes from last month's meeting before you. Are there any questions, revisions? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a motion and second? All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. Monica, will you give us our executive director's report?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I don't know which mic I'm supposed to use. The agenda is before you. This morning, we have 2 items that will require action by the board. Following my report, the board will be asked to consider a couple of administrative items related to the 2017 Country Music Festival. And during the Finance Committee report, there's a resolution to approve Bridgestone Arena's FY18 list of proposed SIF projects. After the Finance Committee report, Larry Adama will present the long-awaited facility condition assessment for Nissan Stadium and Bridgestone Arena, and then we'll follow that up with facility questions, and last but not least, of course, our report from the Tennessee Titans and Nissan Stadium. Are there any questions about the agenda? Our agenda is a little lengthy this morning, so I'm going to be especially brief. It's been a good month, a busy month for us. Earlier, since our last meeting, we had the State of Metro address, which was a fantastic event on the plaza at Bridgestone Arena. It was a beautiful day. I know several of you were able to make it out, and so we really appreciate the work, the cooperation of the Predators, because it really was a great event. Also, we had our budget hearing with the Metro Council, and again, just would like to thank you all for your support. All of our facilities came and were available, and we appreciate that because we know your time is very special. The main thing I want to share with you is something that I shared with the Finance Committee in our meeting on Monday, and that's that our public investment plan was funded this year. We are very, very excited about that. It was one of a small handful of PIPs. So we are excited and we're ready to get started. We're incredibly thankful to our facility partners, to the Nashville Sounds and to the Titans, as well as our community partners, Baby and Company, Southern Blood Services, and the Nashville Breastfeeding Coalition. And so we're glad we're going to have an opportunity to support moms and babies by adding some breastfeeding infrastructure to our facilities and also to some of the special events hosted by Metro. So if there are no questions, that concludes my report.
So believe it or not, June will be here soon. So that means it's almost time again for the CMA Fest. In relation, I believe we have a couple of action items to get ready. And,
believe it or not, we actually load in on Tuesday. So it is here and it's fast. We don't know how.
Let me give a little bit of an introduction. She is very excited to be here.
You want us to come back every year? We're very happy to be here.
Thank you.
So, and I know most of you will remember this from years past, but the license and use agreement between the Sports Authority and the CMA requires the Sports Authority and Cumberland Stadium, Inc. to approve CMA's parking contractor for the festival. Stewart Parking is the CMA's contractor for Music Festival this year. The agreement also states that the Sports Authority is entitled to an accounting of all of the gross receipts from the sale of parking, as well as some of the operating and management expenses associated with the parking lots. So Vilma is here this morning, along with one of her colleagues, Chris Harrington, and so they'll walk us briefly through the administrative parking expenses. And I'll note that these expenses are shared between the CMA, Cumberland Stadium Inc., and the Sports Authority.
Velma, if you'll give us your title and who you represent, just for the record.
Vilma Salinas, CMA, and I'm Senior Manager of Event Logistics.
Thank you.
As Monica explained beautifully, as you can imagine, it takes quite a village to pull what we do in 4 days. We have already pre-sold 4,000 parking spots for all the week, and the guests and fans already have hang tags in their hands as of last week. The rest of the spots are sold on site, managed by Stewart, for cash lots. So as you see in your letter, we use all 16 of the lots, and we have different hang tags for every day and for those who come for 4 days. So it's about 50 different hang tags total, 50 types. We have, I think, last year our revenue in cash managed by Stewart on site was $193,620, and the 4-day revenue that is pre-sold for us is $101,850,000. We have over about 11,000 different types of people who use the hang tags, with the exception of mostly we use, again, cash. Last year, we did also incorporate very specific spots for ADA cash on Lot K, on this in the stadium, as well as we still have all of Lot A on the other side. What we are asking in the expense that we share, basically it's $5,200 with the printing of the 13,000 hang tags that we use, $1,375, which is the shipping of those 3,755 accounts that those fans have this already last week. And then blessed Terry Aldrich, who keeps coming back. She's our parking administrator, and basically she manages everything administrative before getting here on site, as to where then Stewart, of course, manages once we are on site, and that is her contracted pay. So our total expenses is $12,400, which, as Monica shared with you, that's what basically we all share in that cost. And at the bottom, as you all may know, we donate half of our proceeds to music education, and that's why every artist that you'll see or hear at Music Fest plays for free. And ever since 2016, our foundation, we have donated $17.5 million. Most of that, $11 million, I think, has stayed here in Metro. So, any questions?
Thank you, Velma.
And I also would like to say that next year, Chris Harrington will be making this lovely presentation. I'll be watching in the wings. Thank you all very much. Go Preds.
Thank you. This time, I believe we need a motion to approve Stewart Parking as the contractor for the 2017 festival. Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just need the record to reflect I recuse myself because of my affiliation with Stewart Parking as a lawyer.
The record will reflect one abstention. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I guess administratively, we also need a motion to approve the expenses that were related. Second. Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we are on to our Finance Committee report. Our Finance Committee met earlier this week, and I believe our chair, Margaret Bell, will give us the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to our committee members and the additional members of the Sports Authority who attended the meeting. It's very much appreciated. We have several items that we discussed at the meeting, and first, regarding Nissan Stadium, we went through the Titans financials that Janine regularly prepares for us. We looked at in a little bit more detail with questions about that. They've added 6 new projects on the CapEx tool report, totaling $165,000. And we went through some of those and asked questions, particularly expressed a concern about the door painting project and asking about why that wasn't maintenance. So we'll be taking, I'm sure there'll be some more discussion on that. But we really do appreciate what Janine does and the extensiveness of her preparation and knowledge, and so I want to make sure that I say that publicly. And that's just very helpful to us, so thank you. And we also looked at the Titans expense. They provided a Deloitte & Touche audit for us regarding the 2016 seat user fee. It's quite extensive. As you know, there's a $3 in ticket tax that come from the Titans games, and they prepared the letter and a certification from the president, CEO, and the senior vice president and CFO of the club, certifying that the schedule was accurate and complete as it was. The audits were clean and there were no exemptions, and the Titans collected $1,845,603 in user fees for the 2016 season, which we were very pleased to see. We had a project management report from Larry Atma and Jordan Wyman regarding our project here at Nissan Stadium. Phase 2 on the east level, club level, is complete, and it included replacement of 13 expansion joints, waterproofing, an extension of several guardrails in the seating areas, and the final invoices are coming in now, and there will be some excess funds, so that's still to be determined. But while working on Phase 2, there was a new discovery regarding the internal gutter. There was a failure in the storage room, which had resulted in water damage. So the early estimates for the replacement is in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. So the recommendation was, that Titans and the Commonwealth Development Group use whatever excess funding we have first to deal with this leakage, and then if there are any available funds after that they could be used to pay for what we've already approved is some expansion joint, test area, and stadium leak projects. So we'll see if those funds are still available, and if not, that will come out of the Stadium Capital Fund. So that was a good update, and we saw pictures of we appreciated that, of the gutter failure, and were able to visualize why those funds were needed. So we appreciate that presentation. Next, we had the Bridgestone Arena Capital Investment Funds report, and you have before you a resolution that was prepared by Attorney Margaret Darby that reflects the recommendation of our Finance Committee regarding the SIF funds. Under the terms of the bank loan used to fund the SIF projects, Metro is required to submit a list of capital projects to be financed with the proceeds of the SIF 30 days prior to the beginning of the fiscal year, so that means that would need to be given to the bank by May 31st. We obtained a list from the vendors on May the 1st of their proposed projects, so we looked at that, but the staff and also the Finance Committee want to develop a more detailed process which allows for more time and information in the future regarding the proposed projects. But we were comfortable with these projects that were proposed, and so those 5 projects that you see in the approximate amount of about $1.5 million is there in that resolution, and those are estimated amounts. We also had a letter that I think is in your packet, under 4, tab 4, from the Predators, which sets out what maybe some of the future projects will be. You'll see these are quite big price tags there. So we're not expecting necessarily all these requests to be made of the SIF fund, but it is good to have a heads up of some of the things that the Predators think that they will need in capital funds in the future. I'm not going to read all of this resolution, but I think it's helpful in considering it. I'll read it, the be it resolved parts, because we just got this in front of us today, so I want to make sure everybody is taking a look at it. But right now, the SIF fund has approximately $800,000, and all the funds are not here yet, so we don't know exactly how much funds will be there. So the resolution makes this subject to the funding being available, because this is $1.5 million, and we don't know if that funds will even be there. But that is, I think, an appropriate projection given the amount of funds that have been there every year. The borrowing capacity is 5 times the SIF of the previous year, or a maximum of $10 million. So the Finance Committee is comfortable with recommending these particular projects at these amounts. We also had Mr. Lackey there, and he initially noted that he wanted to make sure the projects could not begin without an availability of funds. We obviously had his input. And he noted that the loan agreement is through 2020 and stating the importance of making sure we pay down the loan before an extension needs to be negotiated. So we had a really good discussion about CIF and the loan and some of the things that we need to be considering going forward. So after much discussion, the Finance Committee voted to recommend approval of the Predator's top 5 projects to the full board contingent upon funding availability. So now I'm going to read the now therefore part after Margaret so ably told us where this is in the agreement and why we need to be considering this resolution today. Now therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Section 8.6 of the agreement, the authority determines that the following 5 recommended capital improvement projects, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated herein by reference, are approved and should proceed. Backstage area of Bridgestone Arena, approximately $700,000, restroom renovation, $150,000, internal, external band staging, $200,000, new premium hospitality space on event level, $350,000, emergency power backup system firewall, $100,000. Be it further resolved that the description of the 5 recommended capital improvement projects, including budget and project scope, shall be provided to First Tennessee Bank pursuant to Section 6.4 of the revolving loan agreement by and between First Tennessee Bank and the authority dated October 10, 2012. Be it further resolved that the authority hereby formally requests that Powers submit periodic updates regarding the status of the implementation of the capital improvement projects and the status of funding for the capital improvement projects approved herein. Adopted and approved if we do so today's date. So the Finance Committee moves approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Margaret, for that thorough and very helpful report. We really appreciate all the work that the Finance Committee is putting in through the committee process. I know we had a number of board members beyond just the Finance Committee that participated this week, and just thank you so very much. So we have a motion. Is there a second for approval?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor to approve the resolution for the fiscal year 18 CIF project, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries and resolution is approved. Thank you. At this time, we will discuss the facility condition assessments. I believe we have Larry Adama of Commonwealth Development, along with Metro Chief Operating Officer Rich Riebling and Mike Woolley with Venue Solutions Group available to also answer any questions. Thank you, Larry.
Good morning.
I'm gonna start too. I'm taking over here.
Go ahead. Monica will start us off.
And Rich told me that he was running late, so
here.
I was he. Oh, I can't see him over the podium.
I'm trying to hide, but I'm here.
Santa's here.
As long as I can. I'll get up with
Snuck in. Well, so I would say that, especially over the last couple of years, I think there's been increasing desire on the part of the board to understand the facilities and especially to be diligent in the charge that we've been given. And especially as the facilities age and as their needs present more frequently. And so we had some conversations with the mayor's office and a facility assessment study, a study of Nissan Stadium and Bridgestone Arena, we just thought would be a tremendous benefit to the Sports Authority and to the city in general as we look at mid-range and long-range planning. So at the time, as you all know, we were working with Larry Adama and his team at Commonwealth Development Group on the seat replacement project at the stadium and the expansion joint repairs. And they were already so familiar with the stadium and were already under contract. And we just had a good partnership, relationship with them. And so it just made a lot of sense to continue to work with them. And so we appreciate the work that you all have done and over the last year with the stadium. And it's been very helpful to us as you and your team have had boots on the ground at our facilities and are able to provide some some expertise that we might not have. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Monica. I'm Larry Adama with Commonwealth Development Group. By way of introduction, Jordan Wyman, Ed Henley are part of our team, and sitting next to them is Mike Woolley with Venue Solutions. Collectively, we have all worked on this since last fall, and we thought what we'd do this morning, because these are big and a bit complex, I will try to make them as concise and presentation as I know how to do, and we've worked on that. So we're going to give you an overview, kind of the primary objectives of it, how we got to all of this information, and a little bit about next steps and how we go into that. So as Monica mentioned, both facilities are approaching 20 years, and a lot of people say, 20 years? Yeah, it's 20 years almost, and they're big, somewhat complicated facilities that you own and somewhat manage. So we thought, with 10 years remaining on the leases in these facilities, we had all of that in mind as we looked and worked with Venue Solutions. Now, Venue Solutions is a company local to the Nashville area, and they specialize in operations related to large assembly facilities like arenas and stadiums. And they've done this assessment of facilities many times before. So the primary objective was to see what the current condition of the current facilities are. And to determine that, to ensure that all the facilities, what is it going to take to keep them viable, to keep them up to date, and to not have any big surprises down the road as it relates to operating them. And we addressed our recommendations in these reports in 3 categories, and I think this is really key. There's a fair amount that's talked about in terms of operations and procedures within the facilities as it relates to managing and maintaining the facilities. We address some maintenance recommendations in these reports, and then we forecast and recommend capital improvement items by year over 20 years. So when you look at these numbers, look over with your eyes over 20 years. It's a long period of time. But specifically, we focus on years 1 through 5, years 6 through 10, and then beyond. So I think that's kind of a key critical component. Now, to do this study, we, as I said, contracted with Venue Solutions. They, in turn, brought in 8 firms that are truly experts in these kinds of buildings, and about 20 individuals, and we blitzed, literally, each building and looked at everything. To give you an idea, we started with the architecture and interiors of the building, all the major systems, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, etc. Delve into technology, roofs, vertical transportation, which means elevators and escalators, all the food service equipment, and the playing field at this facility, obviously. So we kind of started with, like you would from a construction process, if you will, from the footings and foundations, and ended at the roof and everything in between. We assessed all of those key components. Each sub-consultant then passed their reports and recommendations up to Mike. He compiled these documents, which total about 400 pages, which I know Monica has read from cover to cover. So, all right. So in doing this, obviously we didn't do this alone. We did it with both facilities, with their facility staffs and management teams. And again, we focused on these areas. They have seen these reports, both facilities have. And so we're moving forward. We're formally presenting them. I know you have been given executive summaries and summaries of some of the capital needs, and these fuller volumes are available should you wish to look at them. And then the big question is, what is the next steps? And what we see happening is to take this information now, to sit down with the respective facilities, understanding that the leases and some of the contractual arrangements for each building is a little bit different, and start to craft a plan that looks at, some things are going to be easy to do. And I have some examples in a little bit of that. But operationally, and procedures, those are kind of easy. Some maintenance things, as the buildings age, we probably got to up the ante on some maintenance. For example, escalators and elevators, their useful life is about 20+ years. They're starting to push that, so we got to check them more often, make sure they're in good shape, and then start to craft a capital plan that addresses what has to be fixed and replaced. That's going to take a little bit of time. And as you look at the capital items in this, they probably break down in responsibility into 3 broad categories. There's going to be some of the capital that will come from the operators and the facilities. Some, in their varying degrees of this, the food service providers have got equipment here, and that needs to be maintained or upgraded. And then obviously the sports authorities' capital needs in all of this. So our plan is to go back to each of the facilities, to sit down with them and to take the recommendations, which we break down in great detail in here, both in those 3 categories, and then lay out how we're going to address them, when we're going to address them. And subsequent to that, I have been asked to create a tracking system that we can periodically report to you as to some of the status of where we are. So in the big picture, that's where we are. I'm happy to take some questions. I've got some examples of these various areas, if that's helpful. But let me pause here and just see what questions there are. I didn't do that good.
Tell us about the numbers.
The numbers are the capital forecast, and bear in mind, we didn't break down whose responsibility it was, because that's going to take a little time. But over the life of the project at the arena, we're looking at $184 million over 20 years or so, and not quite $300 million at the stadium. Now break that down, those are big numbers, but annually it probably comes to $8 to $12 million per facility per year when you kind of lay it out. Now there's ups and downs in that, because as the cycle of equipment or the size of equipment and the bill for that has to be replaced, it might have a year or two that's bigger. So they're big numbers, but these are big facilities, and so as we address a plan, then that backs up into, where's those funds going to come from? That's where the dialogue and the conversation is going to have to go forward with.
Has there been any discussion on how that's going to be paid for?
Can I defer to the chief financial or chief operating officer now?
I suspected it would be Dunley that was going to ask the question. So, good morning. It's been a few months since I've been here. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing on where we are. Let me make a couple broad comments, and then I'm happy to address it. I mean, the short answer is we don't have the answer. So I can't tell you that we have a plan on how we're going to do this. But I think I think the beginning point on this was really questions that were coming from the Sports Authority about these facilities. We all know they're getting older. And especially at the stadium, when the capital requests were coming in, well, how are we going to address this and how we're going to meet these obligations? And so it seemed to me that based on that, we ought to get a benchmark so we knew where we were starting from, and then we could sort of sit down with the various teams and operators and sort of figure out how we do this collaboratively and collectively. And now we have that. I mean, it's a big number, clearly. As you may know, I think Monica, I'm sure, has told you that we did recommend an increase in the capital budget for Nissan Stadium this year. It's been $1 million under contract, and we increased that, a recommended budget to the council increases that to $1.5 million this year. So that is a step, it's not the last we'll have to take, but it's a step in the direction of addressing some of those concerns that some of you have expressed over the last few months. And so I think what we need to do is, as Larry said, we need to start sitting down and working with Monica and other members of the Sports Authority and figure out what our obligations are, what are the team's obligations, and sort of start figuring that out. We've got issues dealing with the teams and their plans going forward, which are all positive. There's no, everybody likes where they are. Everybody likes what we're doing. And so it's a matter of collaboratively working on that. Clearly big numbers that are going to need funds. Our goal will be to limit the amount the taxpayers have to be burdened with this. These are big facilities that are important for our city, create lots of economic impact. But our goal is to try to drive as much to revenues generated by the facilities to pay for the facilities to the extent that we can. Shortfalls have to be made up by the city as we get into the details. So one thing is to remember is that in 10 years or so or less, all the debt on these facilities are paid off. So that stream of revenue that's currently being used to pay that debt is going to become available. Now, that's a little bit down the road, but you can, putting together some financially modeling, you can rely on that revenue down the road to help pay for some of these costs going forward. So those are the kind of details that we're going to be rolling up our sleeves and working on over the next few months and kind of figuring out, short haul, long term, we've got a source of revenue to pay for a good chunk of this as the bonds get paid off. But how do we get into the interim period between now and when the bonds are paid off? And that's what we've got to figure out, and that's what we're going to do over the next few months. We have moral and legal obligations to make this happen, and so we are obligated to come up with a plan. And as we have in the past, I think we've had a great working relationship, and I've appeared here on numerous occasions. It seems it's my first or second favorite board. It depends on the day of the week. But these are important things for the city, and we're going to have to figure it out. But I can't tell you answers today, so I didn't want you to. I don't have a magic plan right now that says, well, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. But you have our commitment that we're going to figure this out, and we're going to do it collaboratively. I think we have a great working relationship with Monica. She's intimately involved in all these discussions as she should be, and it's going to be something that over the months we'll start laying things out and getting periodic updates until we can come up with the final plan. So that's my long-winded answer to say I don't know, but we're going to figure it out.
Well, there were the Titan Stadium the CapEx projects, a grand total of approximately $13 million that have been either completed or current or anticipated. And we talked about this. This is something we asked for a recommendation on from Finance, I think, back in February of last year. So is that number also going to be, or that?
Yeah, that has,
is it
catching up on that number. I mean, to their credit, the Titans are not, they're not like a bank knocking on my door saying, hey, where's our money, where's our money? And I appreciate their cooperation on that. But we have the legal obligation to do it, and we're going to meet those obligations. And so putting the $1.5 million in this year was a step in that direction. I'd like to have gone, as I said before to you, I'd like to have gone even higher than that, but budgets are budgets, and you only can do so much. But that will be part of how we address this. I mean, I think, again, we got to look at all the debt. Is there opportunities to refinance and roll things into it? I mean, all that has to be really looked at. I just don't, we haven't had the time yet to sit down and do that. It's obviously what I enjoy doing that more than anything else that I do. So it's something it's something I like to do, and we're going to do it. It's just, it's helpful now to have a sort of a ballpark number so we know what we've got to do, and now you can sort of start picking the pieces off and figure out where we go. But yes, we're going to address the Titans issue. I know that, no one likes to have obligations outstanding as part of, we have requirements to do, and we're going to fix that.
Rich, excuse me, but are we looking at this as a tool for us to use to make sure that the stadium and the arena are at top-notch levels, or is it going to be, we're going to be kind of following along behind their recommendations, I guess?
Well, I think this is the tool. This is the guideline to start, and then we prioritize each of these issues as the need arises. I mean, as you can imagine, there's going to be emergencies that are going to occur because, just like Larry always points out, you always got to keep it simple. You look at your own house. You got to, all of a sudden, your roof's great. You don't want to pay a new roof, and all of a sudden you got a leak in your roof, and all of a sudden you got to go out and put a new roof on. Well, that's the similar kind of situations here. We got sort of stuff we're going to have to do because emergencies are going to come up and damage is going to be done, and then we got stuff that, you know, that we want to do to keep the stadium in a modern condition and meet our especially on the stadium side, but really on the arena side too, to meet all our obligations to continue it. I mean, both facilities are, you know, both teams are committed to those locations, and so that's what we're dealing with. I mean, if you know, I hate to get into this, but you know, everybody says, well, you know, what, you know, build a new football stadium, you know, and you know, you look at the price tag on a new football stadium, and I don't know, Mr. Underwood can tell me better than I can, but there's nothing under $1 billion that has been. Is that right, Steve? That's right. Yeah. No, yeah. I knew he would know the answer to that. I need to give Steve a little FaceTime. You know, he was kind of, but so there's nothing under $1 billion that's been contemplated in recent times. And so when you look at 300 or whatever the number is for to keep our stadium in good condition, it, you know, doesn't look so bad. I mean, sometimes you have to put it in the context of others, and so we need to, you know, we need to keep these things in first-class condition, and that means we're going to have to spend some money over the coming years, and we're going to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I know we also have Mike Woolley with Venue Solutions Group. I think it was touched on that Venue Solutions Group has done other assessments and similar to these many times. Do you mind just maybe talking to us quickly about your experience, and it'll be helpful.
You know, in the 10 or 12 years that we've been at this, first working for Populous HOK Sport, and since we've been Venue Solutions Group, which is now starting our 6th year, we've probably done 30 of these. We've just completed for the 3rd time the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina for the Centennial Sports Authority, which is your counterpart that is responsible for the ownership of that facility. Within the last couple of years, we've also done FedEx Forum and American Airlines Arena for the Miami Heat and for Miami-Dade County as well, which was to understand what the benchmark so they could move forward in their lease negotiations and understand what the next 20 or 30 years in terms of what capital investments are going to be required. So we've also done a couple of NFL stadiums. We've done Buffalo Bills, Ford Field. We did Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for the Indiana Pacers as they were trying to figure out what their long-term plan was. They're a similar age as you. So, and then also Toyota Center in Houston. So we've done a fair number of NHL, NBA, and NFL stadium, and I also should include M&T Bank Stadium for the Maryland Stadium Authority, which is your counterpart, who's responsible for the ownership and maintenance of both Oriole Park at Camden Yards and M&T Bank Stadium in partnership with the Baltimore Ravens.
Thank you, Mike. I think
You're
that's
welcome.
helpful. Are there any additional questions for Larry and his team?
Thank you all.
Thank you. We appreciate your work. Our Nissan Stadium is our facility spotlight this month. I believe we have a great lineup from the Titans organization. Looks like Mr. Steve Underwood will start us off.
Madam Chair, thank you. Members, we're so glad to entertain you here in our facility, our home, Nissan Stadium. All of our guests, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Much of our senior leadership is here today, and they'll be presenting the report. I would just like to make a couple of quick observations because I know you all have been handed some very large studies that have been done today. First of all, we would like to thank the Metropolitan Government and its leadership for undertaking to do this study. We know that some of the impetus from that arose from the members of the Sports Authority, but despite its length and despite the numbers, we still think that Nissan Stadium is a great place to watch a football game, which is what it was built for. We're very proud to call it home and intend to continue calling it our home for much of the future. So I wouldn't be too upset about the numbers and so forth. All that needs to be put in context and taken into consideration with the larger goal, which is having a place to play National Football League games. But we still appreciate the work that was done and the leadership that was shown. Larry, thank you for all that you have done. Secondly, we want to congratulate our friends across town, the Predators, for their success in the playoffs. How good it is to have a team that's playing so well, and we're very grateful to share Nashville with them and wish them every success going forward. We're in the business of playing football, and we have someone here today who's going to open our report for us, someone who I greatly admire and who does a tremendous job for us and has for the past 20 years, Mike Keith, who is the voice of the Titans. Mike?
I'd like to say, first of all, I appreciate my boss saying that publicly. That's very nice. It's an honor to be here, and having grown up in Franklin, who would have thought 30 years ago that May 18th would be such an awesome sports day in our community? So much has changed and so much has advanced, and I'm proud to say that for where the Titans are right now football-wise, we have a lot of great memories to make in the next few years, because as I come before you, I'm most proud that I don't have to use the word rebuilding any longer. And thank goodness for that. The word that I use at this point as we entered this offseason is simply building. And John Robinson, our general manager, Mike Malarkey, our head coach, and our entire personnel and coaching staff went through what was an exciting 2016 for the organization, tripling the number of wins, becoming the surprise team in the NFL, and leaving the year at 9-7, our first winning campaign in several years, knowing that the best is yet to come, but also knowing that we weren't there yet. We didn't have every piece in place, and so the additions that we were going to go out of our way to try to make were specifically on defense and specifically adding to this team's speed and athleticism. Our secondary needed work. And one of our first signees in the free agency period was from the world champions, the New England Patriots, Logan Ryan, a defensive back who can play multiple positions and gives us a starting cornerback who has tremendous flexibility within defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau's scheme. We went to Jacksonville and grabbed a safety who we nearly drafted 4 years before, and frankly, he's taunted us for the 4 years he's played for the Jags. His name is Jonathan Cyprien. If you can't beat him, sign him, right? That's the idea. Jonathan Cyprien's a tremendous young man, a big hitter in the secondary, and gives us a starter at the safety position to pair with MTSU's own Kevin Byard, giving us our best safety attack in years. So we're very excited about those players. And then we wanted to add a little something different in our defensive line. And so Sylvester Williams, who played on a Super Bowl team in Denver, a former first-round pick, was signed to play nose tackle. Sylvester gives us something rather than the normal space eater at that position. We want to have everybody be able to rush the passer, and now we have a nose tackle that really does that. Our staff didn't feel like our special teams were quite good enough. So our pro personnel staff who puts together our advanced game plans was asked who had the best coverage units in the NFL last year. It was the Oakland Raiders. So we went and signed their two best kick cover guys, Brendan Trawick and also Darren Bates, who happens to be from Memphis, Tennessee. We're excited to get him back in the volunteer state to play for us. And we also signed a player on special teams very familiar to our staff. Coach Malarkey, Coach Robisky, several members of our unit had worked in Atlanta with Eric Weems. And Eric Weems is a guy who can return kicks and he can cover kicks. So again, building specific areas, helping our secondary, helping our defensive line, doing what we needed to do special teams-wise in free agency. And then the draft. First time in Titans history, we had 2 first-round picks. And everybody was excited everywhere that I went. They said, you've got to draft a wide receiver and you've got to draft a cornerback. So we did. We listened. John Robinson, I think, had his own ideas about how it would work. But getting Corey Davis at the number 5 overall pick gives us a receiver, quite frankly, from a physical standpoint, like we've never had before. He is simply put the most productive receiver in FBS history with over 300 catches for over 5,000 yards and 52 touchdowns. He is a spectacular-looking athlete. Speaking of athletes, at number 18, we got the cornerback from USC, who was one of the 5 best overall athletes in this draft, Adoree Jackson. He plays the defensive back position. He runs back kicks. He even played offense for the Trojans as well. So we'll use both of those players. They'll have a chance to be on the field for us right here at Nissan Stadium on September 10th when we host the Oakland Raiders. Throughout the rest of the draft, the pattern continued. 2 third-round picks. Excited about Taywan Taylor from Western Kentucky, a receiver who was also very productive. Very excited about Jonnu Smith, too, a tight end from Florida Atlantic. When you see him physically, he's built and runs very much like Delanie Walker. We'd be very pleased if he were almost as good as Delanie Walker for the next 5 to 10 years. And then throughout the rest of the draft, the building continued in the offensive line, at the linebacker position. Areas of need in the offensive line, too, including Brad Seaton, who will be the biggest overall Titan at nearly 6 feet 9 inches tall, 335 pounds. You will notice him in the preseason. I promise you will pick out number 73 quite easily. So what you see is this process goes on with building. And when we talk about the excitement of May the 18th for the Titans, our excitement really gets underway on Monday when we move into phase 3 of our offseason program, known as OTAs, Organized Team Activities. That's really where we start our spring practice without pads. Our offense gets to go against our defense, and from May the 23rd through June the 15th, when we end our mandatory minicamp, we're going to be on the field 13 times, getting ready for our season, with training camp set to open on July the 28th. I think this year is going to be a continuation of last season as we make progress, but what we're most excited about roster-wise, because as you know, we have our quarterback, Marcus Mariota. We have our best players under contract, which is one of the most exciting things. We have a tremendous amount of cap room. We haven't mortgaged our future with draft picks to acquire these players. The Tennessee Titans are going to be a force in the AFC South, and we hope in the AFC and the entire NFL for years to come. One of the most exciting parts of my job was the first 5 years of the Titans, where we had a chance to win 61 games and have so much fun in this building. And by the end of last year, when we were taking it to Green Bay and taking it to Denver and beating Houston to win at the end of the season, that excitement here was back. We won our last 4 to play here, and it felt good again. That's going to continue, not just for 2017, but we feel like for years to come. So football's healthy. No more rebuilding. Just building from now on. It's an honor to be here with you. Thanks for listening to me, and I'm going to turn it over to our Senior Vice President and our Chief Revenue Officer, Stuart Spears, now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As Mike said, my name is Stuart Spears, Senior Vice President and Chief Revenue Officer for the Titans. I've had the pleasure of addressing you guys before, and I appreciate you allowing me to have some time again this morning. I'd like to give you a brief update of our ticketing initiatives and the progress that we have made leading up to the 2017 season. On the heels of an exciting 2016 year that Mike just walked you through, we moved quickly into our 2017 renewal phase right after the first of the year. We intentionally maintain a year-round relationship with our season ticket members, continuing communication and interaction with them through the off-season rather than just sending a bill and waiting for the season. We aspire to create events and opportunities for them to connect with our players, our coaches, and the rest of our organization, for them to feel a part of our team, not just a customer. The kickoff for these efforts was our Tailgate and Tuxedos event that we held in February at the Music City Center. As we did last year, we saw this event as a celebration of the previous season, as well as a pivot to the exciting possibilities of the year to come. Our ownership, our football leadership, our players, and our coaches were all on hand for a very fun evening of football and fellowship. We also have continued our 500 Prizes campaign, where we award 500 different season ticket member accounts each year, with items ranging from autographed merchandise to Titan apparel to experiential opportunities such as a meet and greet with our draft picks that you see in the slide here. We continue to have fun each year hosting other events for season ticket members only, such as the movie night at Nissan Stadium, Coffee with Coach at our practice facility, St. Thomas Sports Park, Titan Talk radio shows, both in Nashville and out in the surrounding communities, our annual draft party at Nissan Stadium, as well as participation in the actual selection process that happens on day 3. These efforts are all very intentional regarding their efforts to strengthen the bond and continue the relationship we have with our season ticket members. We send renewal statements out each February, as I said, and our goal is to ensure that each customer recognizes how valuable they are to us. We don't take their commitment for granted. We are at the tail end of this renewal process now. We are tracking to finish with the highest percentage of renewal that we've had in recent years. We are currently taking deposits for group tickets for the upcoming season and working hard to prepare for our single game sales, which will begin later next week. Our staff is focused and energized as we move through these months leading up to the 2017 season and are excited about what the possibilities can hold. Thank you, and wonder if anybody has any questions.
It's really more of a comment. I know at the Finance Committee meeting, Janine mentioned that you were renewing at 95% levels of season ticket holders, and the NFL average is around 85%. So we were impressed with the way the Titans are having the renewals for their season tickets. And obviously these efforts are paying off, but obviously the team doing well also helps. But I want to congratulate you all on these efforts. That's quite a statistic.
Well, thank you, but the gratitude really goes to the fans. Our support and our season ticket members has been fantastic. Last year was our first winning season in a few years, and we were excited to reward their loyalty with that. But we're very, very appreciative of the fans and season ticket members here in Nashville, as well as all across Middle Tennessee. All right. Thank you, guys.
I believe Janine.
Tina Tuckle will be up next. Come on, Tina.
I apologize for not introducing you.
That's all right.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me. I'm Tina Tuggle. I'm with the Community Relations Department. And so I just wanted to talk about a few things that we've done during the off season for 2017 that are annual events that we're very proud of to bring to our local community. The first one is the Tennessee Titans Regional Spelling Bee. We initially kicked off this initiative in 2016, and it's something that we're very proud of. We're very proud to bring to our school systems, and last year was the first year we did it, and so it was new and it was unexpected. This year the students were excited, the schools and administrators were excited. We've gotten such good positive feedback from it. We actually added 11 additional counties to the spelling bee this year. With the students having the opportunity to prepare over the course of the entire school year, we saw the level of competition increase, and it actually went 18 rounds. And this year, a young lady from Franklin, Sydney, is going to represent the Tennessee Titans in the National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. on May 31st. So please tune in and let's cheer Sydney on for that. This is our third year hosting the high school football recruiting fair, and on April 25th this year, we hosted it. There were 68 local high schools, both public and private, present, as well as several universities, I think 120 universities nationwide present. And so what the recruiting fair does is gives the opportunity for our local athletes to gain exposure to major universities. So the coaches come and set up so that the universities can kind of go around and talk to them about various athletes that are available to go to their university. And what it does is it gives exposure for those students or athletes that wouldn't otherwise get attention. So coaches can identify their students or their athletes that they feel should get some attention and talk to those universities about it. So we are one of the only professional teams to do that. We've gotten such tremendous feedback, and it's something we'll continue to do as part of our youth and sports initiative. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was the Titans Caravan. We have done this for numerous years. It is such a fun opportunity for our players, our coaches, our executives, our organization to come together and go out and speak and reach and talk to our fans and actually just give them the opportunity to talk to us. We travel the entire state of Tennessee, April 29th through May 6th. And we actually go into Alabama and Kentucky as well. And so it's a fun opportunity for the players to hear from the fans and to thank the fans for continuing to support us. So it's something we've done for a number of years and will continue to do for subsequent years to come. One of the things I did mention is our continual support through whether it's sponsorships and the use of our brand to bring awareness to various initiatives and organizations and groups that are doing things to improve in our community. And we're very proud to support Opportunity Now, which is the mayor's initiative to bring opportunities to young adults or students for employment and internship opportunities during the summertime. That is it. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the high school football recruiting fairs, is this event only for seniors, or do they start at a younger level and maybe?
The emphasis is on seniors. There are sometimes opportunities for high schools to show that, we've got up-and-coming sophomore and juniors that you may want to pay attention to, but the emphasis or the whole premise of the program is to get scholarships for those outgoing seniors. Yes.
Do they have players attend, or is it just coaches?
It's just coaches, but they bring film. And so they'll actually sit down and watch film with college coaches during that time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Tina.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Janine Kaufman, CFO with the Tennessee Titans, and thank you all so much for being here today at Nissan Stadium. One thing I wanted to tag on to Tina is we do have the Titans baby shower coming up. I hope everyone got an invitation for that. That's on June the 6th. We would love to have you come out to our facility and help stuff bags, which will go to new mothers in the Nashville community. Last year we did about 1,500 bags, and so I think Monica and her team is sending out the invitation to everybody, but would love to have you come out. It's really fun to see the players holding up the little onesies. They are so cute. And thank you all to the team who's been up here talking. Bob Flynn could not be with us today. He is actually celebrating his daughter's graduation from college, so he wanted me to let you guys know that he is missing you guys. With that, we'll turn it to Nissan Stadium highlights. We've got a few things coming up. As we talked about earlier, CMA with Velma and her team and the whole CMA crew will be loading in starting this Tuesday. It's a huge event for us, and we're really excited to host them again. We've got Monster Jam 2 weeks after that. We are currently at about 11,000 in sales for that, and generally we'll see those sales really move over the next month. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, come out. It's an incredible family event. I have never been to a Monster Jam until previously last year, and I'm no kidding you. These trucks go all the way up to the club level. It is, I mean, they are jumping that high. It is amazing and such a fabulous event. The Gold Cup, we follow up right then in early July. Again, those tickets are just moving like hotcakes. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, please do. Currently, we are number 2 in selling the Gold Cup tickets, right behind the finals. So we're the opening, and we are just moving tickets really rapidly. So we'd love to get to 45,000 for that event. And then we have the ICC game wrapping up at the end of July. And again, those tickets are going well. Those ticket sales we're a little over 35,000 for those tickets. We are still hoping to get a concert for this year. We haven't given up yet. So we are continuing to work that avenue as well to bring a concert here this year. Do I have any questions on use highlights and what's going on here at Nissan Stadium? All right. With that, I'll go to our project update. Our suite renovations are continuing. We're renovating 69 suites in 2017. And just to give you an idea of the size of the project, to redo all the suites, it's a little over $11.5 million that the Titans are actually funding to renovate those suites. And those suites, of course, are not just used by Titans events, but they're used by all the events in the building. So wanted to let you know that that is continuing and is on track. We hope to have those complete by the start of the Titans season. The South Lawn project, it looks amazing. I've got actually a picture in here of what it is going to look like. And this was a leasing improvement that was blessed by the Sports Authority last year, and so we are wrapping up completion. This is a huge activation area on the South Lawn, and we used it during our games last year when it was without the pavers, and this year we really look to really engage a little bit more with our fans on that South Lawn. There's an area where you can set up a stage, and we did some live broadcasts. I think Mike Keith was down there some, Titans Radio was down there, but we also actually had a few bands, and it's just a great way to engage the fan outside the stadium, get them over to the property early, and just really enjoy. And with the new pavers down, it's going to be fabulous. We really feel like it'll be a destination, not only on event day, but it'll be utilized as a park area for non-events for people who, as you guys can see, people run over here and really just kind of come by the stadium a lot, and so it'll be a really great area. That was also done at the Titans cost, and we've spent somewhere around $400,000 on that area. Yes, ma'am.
Will that be available before the season starts? Will it be available for the soccer games?
It will be available, and we hope that they'll utilize that. The CONCACAF and the ICC games, Kim, they both have a huge kind of pregame party atmosphere. And so we hope that they will really set up some tents down there or stage and really make use of that great space.
So when there's events, it's just subject to who's putting on the event, whether or not they would utilize it. It's up to their request, or how does that work?
They can use it. It's made available through their contract and the use of the facilities. So they certainly, anyone who comes over, whether it's CMA, whether it's the ICC and soccer, whether it's a concert, is so welcome to utilize that space.
One more question. Yeah. So if it's not an event day, you were saying we're trying to utilize it for other, just the downtown community at large, how would someone go about if they wanted to use that for an event?
They would need to contact Bob Flynn, but on general, I mean, there is no fencing around there, Kim. So really, if somebody is out running, they want to come over and take a lunch break and have a nice lunch down there, we're going to have some benches. We did put in some lighting for the area for security purposes as well. But it's kind of open, similar to all of the premises that are non-gated around the stadium. Did that answer that? Okay. And then the Safety Act, just to kind of flip back, we did file our application for the Safety Act in late March. That is being reviewed currently, and we are still on track and hope to have that designation by the August 1st, first game of the Titans season. So we're really excited about that. Just to elaborate a little bit more on that, the Titans did hire a consultant to walk us through the Safety Act application because it is enormous. Anything with the federal government is enormous. And so we have spent hours and hours filling out the Safety Act application. We have devoted a lot of resources. Steve Underwood has been really involved in that application, as well as our attorney, Burke Nihill. We also, as you guys may remember, we hired a full-time security staff person here at Nissan Stadium who is our own person to handle security here, which is why when you came today, you had to go through the magnetometers and have your bags checked and certain things like that. And it will give us, once we get the designation, it will give us some additional protections through the federal government under their insurance plan. And Metro will be an additional insured under that plan. So I think that's really great for all of us. And I really want to commend our team who's worked on that, because it is a little bit of a behind-the-scenes effort that has gone into that application. So, and then the waterproofing project, I think Larry kind of talked about that and hit on where we are on that project. So it's been a really good pleasure, and we've had just such great experience working with Larry and Jordan and Ed and their whole team. Do I have any questions on the stadium project update before I flip to the finances? All right, and I'm going to kind of go through the finances somewhat quickly. We did go into a great detail at the Finance Committee report, and Margaret, I really appreciated your summary. It was very accurate and detailed. So the ticket tax summary, again, the ticket tax is divided into two different pots. It's the $2 fee and the $1 fee. And this is a tax that is paid by the users of the building. And so the $2 tax, it was used to fund the bonds in 2012. And these bonds were used for the new ribbon boards, the sound system, the new control room, the elevators that are express elevators that go all the way up to the upper deck, and some of our fan zones inside the building. You can see that fund is currently sitting at $497,000. And so we have been able to easily pay for the debt service associated with those bonds. The next fund is the Dollar Fund, and the Dollar Fund is the one that was just issued in 2015, and it's the money that has been utilized by Larry and his team to rework and replace all of the seats in the stadium, as well as repairing the concrete and doing some of that waterproofing here in the stadium. And as Larry mentioned, they're wrapping up that project and have just done a fabulous job. And I will say, I think the seats look amazing. They look so good inside the stadium, having that fresh blue pop and the red pop again instead of pink. They look so nice. And the other thing is, we don't have anyone's seat who is breaking. So we don't get calls anymore on game day that says, hey, section 137, row DD, their seat is broken, and can you come fix it? So that's been a real win for our fans. The next is the ticket tax paid to date, and as you can see, we've put in, the users of the building have paid in about $17.5 million. And there is another supplemental page that was sent out to you guys as well that detailed out how that was paid by what events who've been in the building since 2010. I did take quick pen to paper this morning and took a note that the Titans piece of the $17.5 million is about 68%. So the Titans games have contributed about 68% to the user fee, while the non-football events have accompanied the other piece. And so I think, Margaret, at the Finance Committee, we certainly had a discussion about what we were doing to bring in non-football events, and I think that percentage shows that although we are paying the majority of the user fee, we are really trying to bring those additional events in and continue to have the users of the building pay for a lot of the improvements. All right, the next slide is the user fee report. This is what the Titans are paying in. For the 2017 season, we're paying in monthly installments, which is $162,000. And then once the games are actually played, we true that up and we'll pay in the actual once the game is paid in and that box office statement has issued. And as Margaret mentioned, we did have the user fee report audit, which was complete for 2016. And we did get a clean opinion on the agreed upon procedures audit. And just to let everyone know, we did generate more user fee in 16 than we did in 15 by about $58,000. So to Stuart's point of the year-round ticket renewal process, about really engaging our fans year-round, it is paying off, and we certainly do see that with our renewal rate as those season ticket holders continue to come back. So we're very excited about that. The next is the capital fund summary, and we're sitting at about $801,000. And you'll see that there's a couple of items that are pending that haven't been paid out yet, and one that has been deferred and is pending approval, which is the heating system for the field. And so we have had some continued dialogue on that. We had a meeting about that last week, and so we hope to have that resolved in the next few weeks, maybe by the next meeting. We'll see. And then the other piece pieces of the funding will come, as Larry talked about, once the gutter is fixed in the north end zone. And this is just a summary of the capital fund, and it's got all the ins and outs of the fund since inception. And next, we'll go to the recap of unfiled reimbursement. We're currently sitting at about $4.7 million. It's been very little change since the last meeting. You'll see there was a change of about $1,700, which was we received 2 invoices that related to the freight elevator. So not much change there. And on the casualty receivable, Walter continues to work with Metro on getting that reimbursed, and that was reduced by about $2,500 since the last meeting we had. And with that, we'll turn it to the CapEx communication tool, unless I have any questions on the user fee fund, the CapEx fund, or anything else in that regard. Okay. Next, we'll go to the CapEx communication tool, and it's a handout. I'm not sure what tab it's behind, but it's in there. Because I know tab 6. Your books are great. See, here you go. And just to recap, we've added a few projects to the list, which Monica mentioned, and we did go in really thorough detail at the Finance Committee meeting. We added padding for the concrete walls in the bowl area. That was something that was added to the list. The last time that was replaced was in 2009, and then it was reimbursed by the Sports Authority in 2010. And again, that's padding that just goes along the concrete walls so that if we had an athlete bang into the concrete wall, they would hit the padding instead of the wall. We added the ADA companion chairs, new picnic tables in the end zone. Those were original to the building back in 2000 or 2001. I couldn't track the original invoice. That tells you how old those picnic tables are. So we plan to buy some new picnic tables for our fans to utilize on game day and event day. New bike racks. Again, this just goes to safety around the stadium. We have put in a proposal for painting the doors throughout Nissan stadiums. They have never been repainted, and it's doing all of the bathroom doors, concession stand doors. We provided an in-depth proposal to the Sports Authority as well on that. And the other is a ride share location. And the ride share location is really for the Ubers, the Lyfts, and the taxis. We currently don't have a designated place on site here at Nissan Stadium that works for the traffic flow for those areas. And so this would be an addition to Lot T and would create a new area where those folks can drop and pick. I think Bridgestone has done something similar within the last year. We have been working with Metro on that and have gotten some bids from them, and I think that bid has also been given to Monica and her team to review. And so with that, we do plan to move forward on most of those projects that I just outlined before the start of the season, as well as the security video surveillance system, which has been on the anticipated list for quite some time. Our security system, we're in the final stages of doing interviews and getting best and final offers from about 3 different groups. So once we get those, we'll supply those to Metro, make a selection, and hopefully move forward and get that updated before the season. And so with that, do I have any questions on the CapEx communication tool? I'm happy to answer. Yes, Dudley.
Overlap is there between the anticipated list that you've got here in the CapEx tool and the facility assessment overview that we just heard about?
That's a great question, Dudley. And there is actually a lot of overlap, especially on the bigger projects. Some of the small projects, Dudley, like ADA companion chairs, probably would not have made it into the facility assessment or bike racks or the padding. But the security surveillance system is certainly listed in there as a high priority item. Okay. If not, we have a short video, I promise, and then we have lunch next door. If anyone wants to come over and have a quick bite, that would be great. And Derek, are you queuing us up? Thank you all so much for coming today. We really appreciate it. Can I sit down, Derek? Are you sure? We practiced this.
Wait. Good job. What's up? High five. Yeah. There you go. Nice to meet you. I like that jersey. That's awesome. Oh, appreciate it. Awesome.
It's a good time to be a Titan for sure. Tighten up.
Thank you again. There you go. One last go fresh. We can always use one last go fresh, right?
Yes.
We are so excited for you guys. We really, really are. And pulling for a win tonight. And I just wanted to let y'all know, in case you didn't recognize the person jumping out of the plane, that was our owner, Amy Adams Strunk, who jumped out of the plane. So I thought that was really cool in support of our military. So just in case you didn't recognize her. And thank you all so much for being here. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kim.
Team Titans, for that awesome report. Also in your binders are the facility reports for this past month for the Sounds, who are playing right now, as well as our Predators, who are still playing. If there are any questions regarding those monthly reports, this would be the time to entertain those. If not, we want to thank the Titans and Nissan Stadium for hosting us today. We really appreciate the hospitality. It's great to see everyone working together and supporting all of our organizations. We're all excited for tonight. It's been a great meeting. We really appreciate everyone attending. Our next meeting will be on June 15th. The location is going to be confirmed soon. And if you will, please remember to leave your binders so that Alicia doesn't have to email you repeatedly like she did with me this week. We'll recycle those, and if there's no other business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, great. We are adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.